Hey everybody, Dan here with the Wealth Instinct. I wanted to share with you my article, Don't Panic, but Starting a Business Has Never Been Easier. And if you could do me a favor, just be sure to subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon. And if you find this valuable, please share it with other people. So, obviously starting a, starting a business is easier than ever, and that's a good thing, but there's also a downside to that, right? Years ago, I was at an event and they were interviewing, they had a panel of the top performing um, business owners in this retail franchise. And it was really interesting to hear kind of all their thoughts about what made them successful. And all of them had very different personalities. All of them had very different styles. Some were very like military by the book. Some were much more free flowing, easygoing. Some were super high energy. Some were low energy. Really just different personalities. And they were all sharing like their marketing and how they hire and how they pay and all the different aspects of running the business and some similarities, but like thing, the one thing that all of them had in common was that they were completely committed to success and had no plan B. They were like, yeah, I mean, I invested 100,000, 150,000, whatever it was. I took out a huge loan. I I had no plan B. Like I had to feed my kids. I had to make this work. So, so they did what they had to do, right? Like when you're when you're starting out and you're like, you have to do marketing. There can be a voice in your head that says, "Oh, these people don't want to hear about your business. These people have other things to do. They don't want you to bother them." And when you have this absolute need to succeed, that voice gets drowned out. And it gets to the point where, you know, you're telling so many people about your business and you're sharing so much in person and online and through organic and through paid ads that people are getting that message multiple times. Because what we don't realize is, you know, sometimes you send one email and you think, well, I told them about it. You do one ad or one post, and it's like, no, like it's got to be more like a river, not a raindrop, like like it's got to be a flow, it's got to be constant. And when you're completely committed to success and you have to make it work, then you market more aggressively, right? And when you market more aggressively, you get your name out there. And when you get your name out there, you get more prospects. And then when your prospects connect with you, they show up at your studio or they at your door or they email you or they click on your link or whatever it is. When you are committed and you're focused and driven because you have so much personally invested in your business, you're passionate, right? You're going to do whatever it takes, and you're going to give them the value that you're there to give them, and you're going to get the result you need to get, right? So this is the downside of business being so easy today, right? It's so easy to start a business. It's so easy to set up a storefront. It's so easy to create a blog. It's so easy to get started with so little investment, but it's also easy to quit, right? Like in a retail business, people go out of business because they run out of money. They invested a ton of money, they took out loans, they've got a commercial lease that's 10 grand a month, 5 grand, maybe more, I don't know. And depending on the size of the space. And if they're not bringing in revenue and they can't make payroll and they can't pay their lease, okay, then they go out of business, right? But an online business where, you know, your hosting services are, 10 bucks a month, 10, 20 bucks a month, I don't know, you've got autoresponders and you've got domains and you've got social media accounts and you've got a lot of very inexpensive resources that can get your name out there. It's not about it's a low barrier to entry and it's a low recurring cost, right? Depending on your ad budgets, but you can adjust those. But what stops people in online business is giving up. thinking, well, I tried it for a month or 2 months or 6 months and it didn't work. Let me go do something else, right? And so that's the problem with business being so easy, that when it's so easy to get into it, it's easy to get out of it. So it's a good problem to have, obviously, right? Like, you know, it's a good problem to have, but you've got to find a way to commit yourself. You've got to find a way to do what it takes. And I think one of the things that's important is to realize that, you know, even if you're working as a solopreneur and you're working in your spare time, you need to have some personal accountability. You need to have some quote unquote business hours. Like, no matter what, at 7 p.m. or 7 a.m. or whatever, I'm going to work on my business. And, once you go through all that process of setting it up, then it's like, okay, I need to be consistently creating content. I need to be consistently posting. I need to be consistently, responding quickly to my customers. I need to be fulfilling orders quickly. You have to have that accountability, um, and create that for yourself. That's kind of the problem with being your own boss, is you got to be your own boss. You still need a boss just because you're your own boss, and you got to make sure you're a good boss. Um, but it's so easy to get distracted, right? And that's the problem. You've got to find a way to create focus. So what can you do, right? Like, there's a lot of things you can do, and the thing is that you need a business model that's proven, and you need to be committed to make it work. So do research. There's so much information out there. There's so many options. I'm really big in mastermind groups. Napoleon Hill obviously talks about this a lot, and a lot of authors and speakers since him have talked about it. But we are we're communal beings, and we're affected by the people that we interact with. And when you're online, it's easy to get isolated and not connect with people. So find communities. There's a lot out there. There's a lot of them are free. Um, Realize too, though, that sometimes the free groups aren't the best. Like, sometimes the free groups are great for beginners, but as you progress, you might want to find a group that's, I mean, not to sound bad, but a little more exclusive, right? Like, if everyone in the group is a complete beginner, you're going to be able to offer a lot of value to them, but they're not going to offer as much value to you unless they're potential clients and prospects. But you really need to find people who are playing at a higher level so that you can benefit from their knowledge. Hiring a coach, like, I'm huge on coaches. Like, this is, it if you want to be successful, you need a coach. Like, the most successful people have coaches. Like, I don't care, the best coaches have coaches. Like, if you're serious, get a coach. Get training. There's so much training out there, and a lot of it's free. And I definitely suggest you do the free training, but again, you need to commit yourself, right? And the way to commit yourself is by investing. If you pay for training, in your mind, it's more valuable and you take it more seriously. And the best training I found is through Jeff Lerner and the Entre Nation. And they've, he really breaks it down in a way that makes sense to me. And and I just can't say enough about it. I really recommend it. I think you should check it out. And they have very, I think their introductory training is very inexpensive. I don't know if they might have some. They have some free. He has a lot of free training he puts out, but their program, I think, has a nominal introductory cost. But it's definitely worth it. It's definitely the best one that I've found so far, and I've done a lot of different ones. So definitely recommend you check that out. Online business is the place to be, but you need some resources and guidance. Well, you don't need it, but it's going to help you, right? Like, you can figure it out on your own, but that's a lot more work, and you're more likely to get discouraged. You want to find someone who's been successful and who can help you avoid mistakes and help you get to the result you want faster. And that's what I think is so valuable about Jeff's training. So click on the link, check it out, let me know what you think, and be sure to subscribe and click the bell icon and like the video. And thank you so much for watching. I'd love to hear your comments and and hear from you about any other questions you have. All right, take care and talk soon. We'll talk soon.